So,
Right.
um, we just got back from Paris, and that's where I met you. We just met
Yeah.
like 2 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you were our like day-to-day tour guide while we were in Paris. We had a group of 24 people that I took over from the United States that came over, and you were just a really great part of our trip, and everyone was so grateful to have you. And
Right.
so please share with us how you even became a tour guide. Like how did that all start?
Oh, okay. So how did I end up being a tour guide? Here is it. So growing up, I've always loved history. I've loved culture and tradition of various people and various communities. So I read a lot about French history. I read a lot about the Chinese history, the American history, a lot about the British history. So, in as much as many of the things I did while I was a student really didn't relate to history, was more in the medical field, but history was something I love on the side. And then moving to Paris in 2021, it became a thought of mine like, what is this city known for? What is this country known for? Then I was trying to, make research into what I could do that, and I would enjoy what I could do to solve a particular problem, what I could do to make ends meet. So then I noticed that yes, one of the things Paris is known for is people coming here for vacation. One of the things France is known for is like it's one of the it's a big country that people travel to a lot for vacations. And yes, France is also known for fashion, good perfumes, good clothes industry, fashion industry, clothing brands and the likes. I know I'm not really good in fashion. France is also good in food, pastries and the likes. I know I'm not really good when it comes to making pastries and stuff, but I know I'm really good with history. I know I'm good with talking about monuments. I know I'm really good with telling stories. Right. So I decided to venture into that, and to be honest, it's been pretty good. So I've been on this route now for about 3 years. Yeah.
So, what was your first tour like? Was it a paid tour? Was it just friends? Like, how did you stumble into like the touring?
So my first tour was not paid. It was actually no, I wouldn't even say my first tour. Like the couple of tours I've done initially were not paid. It was just like, okay, I got friends and families coming to visit Paris, and when friends and families come around, you have no other option than to be their tour guide. You have to take them to different places, and you see, Paris is quite iconic. That when people come around, one of the first things they want to see is probably the Eiffel Tower. So you have to take them to the Eiffel Tower. You have to take them to Musée de Louvre. You have to take them to the Notre Dame. You have to take them to quite a lot of places like Champs Elysees, Arc de Triomphe, and stuff. And people want to know, oh, when is it built? How long did it take to build? This looks astonishing. They want to know some of the information about it, and I'm easily I give it up like, oh yeah, this was built 1889. This was built this was built that. It took 200 years to build. This took 300 years, and they're like, oh, how do you get to know all of this? You're really good. And I'm like, yeah, I read about all of this many years ago, even before I dreamt of coming to France. Like, so it just stick in my head. And I'm like, okay, uh, I think this is pretty cool. Like, I'm enjoying it, and I love Paris. Paris is a city I love so much, and I love to talk about Paris. So when my friends come around, I'm really happy. I'm really eager to show them around and talk to them about Paris. I take them to the Latin Quarter, to Le Marais, to different neighborhoods, of history in Paris. And I also find out that whilst I do all of this, even though it's not paid, I get some sort of gratification from it. I enjoy what I do. So I was like, all right, why don't I just turn it into a business? So yeah.
So, how do people find you? I'll share how I found you, and then you can let me know what
Yeah.
it's like generally. So, essentially, what happened as the size of the group that we were going to Paris just grew and grew.
Mm-hmm.
At first it was like 10 people, and then it was 15, and then it jumped to 24. And I just knew that I wanted to, one, take folks on the train
Right.
and take them to the Louvre and a few other places. And I just knew that I was not going to be able to manage 24 people. So I was like, okay, I need to find a tour guide. So I just ended up in like an expat group, put out the request and you responded and we talked back and forth. But how have you gotten tours, like how what's the general way that you've gotten tours?
So we have some platforms where people book tours from, like for example, Booking.com, TripAdvisor, Vitor, Edout, and Expedia, or some of these platforms where people book tours from. Yes, so I get clients from there as well, from referrals as well, from like I mean I have like some sort of, shall I say, deal with some hotels in Paris when people come around and they need like a tour guide, because to be honest, let's say if you're coming for the first time, second time, or third time, navigating Paris can be a bit difficult,
Yeah.
especially if you're not a local or if you're not used to the structure of Paris, especially probably getting through with the public transport, even not with public transport, knowing where to go, what to do, what activities is out there, and the like. So it could be a bit difficult. So yes, when people come around, they speak with some of the hotels, like the receptionist, for instance, they'll be like, "Can we get a tour guide? And we need somebody." And I'm like, "Yeah." So I have like some deals with some of the hotels around in Paris, and yeah, through many of these platforms, I get clients most times, yeah, but mostly from referrals, actually.
So you mentioned some of the platforms, booking.com, Viator, TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
Just from a business standpoint, like is do you are you making more money with just strict referrals, or is there like or do you make more when you use those platforms?
No, I think referrals makes is I make more money from referrals, because when we use platforms like that, you see, they also get their own percentage, right? So the same amount you're going to charge for a particular tour, let's say tour of the Eiffel Tower, 2 hours or 1 hour, the same amount you're going to charge per person, is the same amount we charge on those website. But once those website get us this particular client, they also get a particular percentage. So yeah, from the business standpoint, that actually reduces the amount of money I get, actually. But yeah, I think I get more money from referrals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when like when we came, we had some specific things we wanted to do. And I remember you distinctly saying when we went to the Louvre, like, you're just going to want to see the Mona Lisa and people are going to be done. What are some things that people should go see that they don't necessarily think about seeing when they come to
So so I think I would take it from what they should see in France, and I would take it to what they should see in Paris, because you see, one mistake people make is that when they come to Paris, they think Paris is everything. No, Paris is not everything. There are,
Paris?
a lot of things to see in France, like, take a day trip out of Paris, go to Giverny, go to Normandy, go to Mont Saint Michel. You see all these beautiful places. Go to some of the chateaus around. You would really love them. So I tell people, sir, France is not just Paris. There's more to France than Paris. Okay, yes, you go to the south of France. You see, you go to Toulouse, you go to Bordeaux. Yeah, beautiful things to see, beautiful places, beautiful activities to do. And also in Paris, I say there's also Paris. Like, when you come to Paris, I understand Paris is very big, and there's a lot to do in Paris that even if you stay for like a month, it's not possible for you to cover everything. And Paris is not a place you come to once. It's a place you come over and over, and you have some sort of list, like, okay, this particular period I'm spending, let's say a week or 3 days or 4 days. In this 4 days, this is what I'm going to do. Right.
Oh,
I'm seeing the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to Arc de Triomphe. I'm going to this museum. I'm going to that museum. You take it off. And so let's say a place like the Louvre, for instance, it's not a museum. You could just see everything at once. It's not
mhm.
possible. All right. We've got a lot of art, a lot of collections in the Louvre. So it's I advise people, if you're really if you really love art a lot, you say you kind of person that you really want to pay close attention to all of this art, you want to know, how they came to be, the understanding of the artist, why they were coming up with this particular masterpiece. You just have to do it one by one. You can't spend like an hour to 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, then leave, come back again, because you cannot see everything at once. If you're trying to see everything at once, you get overwhelmed, and you see the beauty, or the joy of you coming to the Louvre, you might not really achieve that. All right. Yeah. So, but I know most people from experience, most people when they come to the Louvre, Mona Lisa, right? Yeah, they want to see Mona Lisa. So after Mona Lisa, they really don't care about other things. See, they don't, because we have about 8 wings on the Louvre. See, so once you go to the wings of Mona Lisa, they are done, and they don't want. But there's still a lot of places, a lot of things to see in the Louvre. For me, I love the Egyptian section. I love the Egyptian hut. Like, it's really marvelous. It's really beautiful. Yeah. So, yes, it's a lot of things to see in the Louvre. Don't just go there to see Mona Lisa. No, also try just take a walk around, and see the beauty of all of these collections and how they came to be, and just read through them and enjoy the moment in the Louvre. Don't just rush to go see Mona Lisa and you go have no.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I know for me, when I've gone, once you see the Mona Lisa, it's like, wow, it's really small, and
Yeah.
it's more people than picture. Honestly, there's just all these people crowded around. But
Right, right.
taking the time to walk around, there's so many other pieces that I've gotten to find that aren't that are in this corner or down the hall, or just really there's just so many pieces. So I appreciate that. It's something where I've never seen. I always find something new each time that I've gone back. So that's true. Now, what some people may not have known this, but didn't they just raise the price of what it costs to
Yeah, I
go to
think
the
about
Louvre?
35 or 45%. It's
Yeah.
yes, I think that after the incident, the robbery that
Oh,
happened, I think about a month or 2 months ago. Was it? Yeah, about a month and a half ago, thereabout.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they raised the price. So I think starting from next year, the tickets should be going for around 40, 43, 45 euros, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but I know
So
they raised the price. Yeah.
the price increase was due to the robbery that
Well, it's difficult to say if it's because it's
happened.
due to the robbery, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to say exactly it's because of the robbery, but I would just say in terms of the Louvre is very big, and big museums like that, of course, needs maintenance. The maintenance, if you take a look at it as well, it's on the eye side. They need to pay staff, they need to do this and do that. So I think it's only okay if they increase the prices, and besides it's just for some certain age range. So I think for youth it's free, for children it's free, you're not paying. It's just for the adults, okay. And yeah, if you also look at the we have a lot of school children will come over there for free. We have a lot of you know young adults that come over there for free. And you see, like I said, the maintenance is also a lot of things. They need to pay their staff, they need to put it in good shape and maintain the quality of the museum and stuff. So this is also money. All right, it's
Hmm.
also money. So I only think it's just okay for them to increase it. Yeah, but well, I wouldn't say it's because of just because of the robbery.
When we saw the news of the robbery, we were like, "Wow, we just missed it because it happened right after we left." So that was such an
Yes, yes,
interesting.
yes.
It was in. Was the did the museum close down any because of that or?
Yes, actually did, because you see that day activities was ongoing. Normally it was in the morning, and nobody ever imagined that it's going to happen, like there's going to be a robbery in the Louvre.
Mhm.
Everybody was it was just I think it was about 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30. But I'm not so sure in the morning, and people were just doing their normal thing, and all of a sudden we just get move, like you say, everybody just had to step out. And it was later that, I mean, after some few minutes that we didn't know what was happening, that we just got to know, like, oh yeah, the Louvre has just been robbed. Like, they've stolen some important jewelries and of history and of value. And everybody was like, oh, how did it happen? Who are they? And from tourists, from guides, from passerby, everybody's like, oh really? Oh wow! Oh really? Oh wow! Nobody ever imagined it was going to happen. And yeah, that same day after the police was able to evacuate people from the Louvre, they shut it down that day. And I think the next day too, it was shut down. And the third day it was open. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, the third day it was open, but not. I think it was just a few section of the Louvre that was open. Not the entire museum, but I think it was a few section of the Louvre that opened. But now I think yeah, it's open right now, and yeah, security, a lot of security measures are in place, and yeah, I think everything is good now.
Yeah. So when you do get a referral or through one of the platforms, someone's coming to visit for a tour, how do you decide what they should see, or is it just based on what their interests are? How do you plan a trip or support a trip for people
So
that are coming?
right, good one. So, I mean, on those website, there are specific tours that you booked for, like let's say tour of the Louvre, tour of the Eiffel Tower, tour of the Notre Dame. There are specific tours that you can book for, and also, I get like probably from your perspective, coming with a group of people. They also we do like private tours, so that we could I could just be like, all right, how many days are you spending, and what are your interests, what do you like? So based on what you want to do, based on what your interests are, I could easily say, okay, for the first day we're going to do this and this and this and this, and the next day we're going to do this and this and this. And I look at, okay, since we're going to, let's say we're going to this particular area, let's say we're going to the Latin Quarter, what are the things we can do all at once on the Latin Quarter that would not make us to start moving from one point to, you move from one end to another end and you have to come back to this place. No. So let's say we look at the Latin Quarter, we go to, okay, let's go to the Sorbonne University, let's go to the Pantheon, let's go to Jardin Luxembourg, before let's go to Shakespeare and Co, let's go to the Notre Dame, which is also not far from the Latin Quarter, let's go to Musée de Cluny. You see, all of these places are in one particular area. So we could say first day we're going to be in the Latin Quarter. The next day we're going to be in the Le Marais. The next day we're going to be in, let's say, the seventh district where the Eiffel Tower is. And yeah, so that can always be done and always be planned based on the interest of the person, what they want to do, and what they find joy in. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you ever have to give recommendations to someone coming like on where to stay? Like there's so many neighborhoods, they all have their own personality, different sites there. Like is there a arrondissement or a neighborhood, is that's what they call? Is there
Yeah.
an arrondissement that you prefer to have people be in? Like what do you typically tell people?
Well, like I said, everything is based on people's what you like to do. So if I'm going to give a recommendation, it's going to be based on who you are, what you want, your budget, because budget is also very important. Some neighborhoods are really expensive in Paris, some hotels are really expensive, and some to the prices are not that bad, mid range, and yeah, so it depends on also what your budget is, okay? But we take a look at all of this to be able to say, okay, this is what you want. Some people too, they come around, they be like, yeah, I want a view of the Eiffel Tower. And you have to get a hotel that is close to the Eiffel Tower, right? I want a view of, let's say, the Arc de Triomphe. You have to get one of the hotels that is probably along Champs-Élysées. I want a view of the Notre Dame. We have to get some hotels that are probably around Notre Dame, right? So yeah, it depends on also the budget. I mean, yeah, the budget is very important. So it depends on all of these factors for me to say, or for me to give a recommendation like, yeah, you can stay over here, you can stay over here, you can stay there, and you can stay here. Yeah. So, but in during consultation, we talk about all of this. Then I get to know, okay, this is what interests you, this is what you like, and this is what you want to do. For example, for some people come over here, like I've had like families that probably they're just moving to London, and they're in London and they just want to come spend like a day in Paris or probably a day and a half or two, and probably they've got kids and the only thing they are really interested in is going to Disneyland. So for people like that, you don't need to come to the main city Paris. We can always get on the tour for you somewhere around Disneyland where you could easily, go to where you spend most of your time at Disneyland, and from there go back to your hotel, get on the train or probably get on the flight and go back to London or where you're coming from, and that's it. Some people come there, probably they have like layovers for like what, 7 hours layover, 10 hours layover, and they really don't want to probably do much, just see one or two things too. And we could always get a hotel for them close to, or probably stay where, close to the airport, whichever airport they're coming in from, probably Charles de Gaulle or Orly. So yeah, it depends on some of these factors and some of these circumstances that we make recommendations for people when they come to Paris. Yeah.
Hmm. One focus that we had for my tour was really exposing the group to the black parts of Paris and the black influence of
Right.
Paris. What are some things that if someone were to ask for a similar tour, what would be some things that you would want them to see that kind of captures the connections to black not only black Americans but even African countries to Paris? Like what are some areas?
Mm, that's a good one. So, I think you went when you came around. You went to the American Church of Paris, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's one key thing I would probably talk about. It's actually a very beautiful church that has rich history when it comes to black people as well. Uh, in terms of, let's say, some of the museums, we've seen some of them with collections from uh, uh, Africa and few other countries. We see. I mean, everything relating around Paris also has to do with black people, because I mean everywhere you also go to you see black people. Like for example, some of the restaurants also, like you see, they are owned by black people. Like you probably want to go to like African restaurant, some Michelin African restaurants, which is also owned by black people. You get to see like listen to like black music, African music, Afro music, go to Afro parties, club and the likes. Yeah. uh it's really difficult to say do this, but it's all incorporated. Let me put it that way. It's all incorporated. So it just depends on, like I said, what you're interested in and how the story's been told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's all incorporated.
Well, I wanted to give you some credit for our time at the Louvre. I had thought that we should have gone through one entrance based on my experience, but that day
Right.
it was really crowded, and you had, you through your connections, you were told that that entrance was crowded and we should go somewhere else. How do
Yeah.
you you handled me very well, but how do you generally deal with people in your group or people that you're giving tours to that don't necessarily trust your judgment or want to do something else? Like, how do you manage people on tours?
Well, that's actually a very good one and a deep one. To be honest, I think one of the difficult part of the job is trying to manage people. But I'm really glad, and I was happy that that day when we had the conversation, I told you like, okay, this is not going to work. This is going to work because it's the Louvre, for instance, or probably the Eiffel Tower. This place, it's really difficult to say this is what is going to happen. This is what is going to happen. Anything can happen anytime. Let's take for example the Eiffel Tower. We go to the Eiffel Tower. Sometimes you want to use the elevator to go to the top. Elevator stop working. What happens? Right. So, and we've seen instances when some guests will be like, they don't even care. Some of them be like, they understand, and you just have to deal with it, and you just have to remain calm and give them your professional advice. Like, okay, based on my professional advice and based on what I know, it might be open in like 10-20 minutes time. We could be on the line for like 10 to 15 minutes. This is going to move faster than this and that, because I mean, we've been there a couple of times. So because of that experience, we could easily tell this is what is going to happen, this is not what is going to happen. I could easily tell you like, okay, if you come in on this particular day, based on what we want to do, it's best we go to the Eiffel Tower, let's say in the early hours of the morning. If you know you don't want to, you want to avoid the huge amount of crowd, it's best to go, let's say, at this particular time of the night. I could easily give that suggestion, and I most of the time many of the guests would always listen to me. Probably when we go to the Notre Dame, oh, you want to spend good time in the Notre Dame? Yes, let's go in the morning. Let's go in probably this particular time. So it depends on the day as well. So we know all of this, and based on all of the information we've accrued over the years, it's easy to say, let's do this, let's do that. And that day, yeah, I was really glad like you did trust me, because if we've gone through this other route, we would have spent more time on the line trying to get in than where we did get in from. And yeah, I'm actually glad it eventually turned out well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was like, okay, fine, you're right, okay. No, but that
Yeah. Yeah.
and our group had people of wide age ranges. We had younger folks, people younger, like I'm in my 40s. We had people two or some people a little younger, but the
Yeah, probably in their
majority
30s.
of people were, huh?
I said I think there's a few people in their 30s.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then the majority, though, had kind of skewed to older. How do you deal with older travelers, people who might not be walking as fast or may have mobility issues, particularly in a place like Paris where it's so much walking and, you know, like not always elevators available, that kind of thing? How do you deal with those kinds of travelers?
Number one, I think one key thing that people or some tour guides don't actually put into consideration is that uh, whichever group of people you're dealing with whatever age range it is, kindness is very important, and also trying to understand people's situations. Okay, you understand people's situations and you put that into consideration when you're making decisions and how you're moving. So for example, when your group came around, in as much as I didn't even feel the fact that yes, we've got like the older group, because we all were relating, and the group was really lovely and lively, and I really had a good time with the group. We were talking from different topics, from this to that and this to that, and even while, let's say we went to the Eiffel Tower, while I was talking about Eiffel Tower to them, I showed them everything around. The way they were asking questions and everybody was so excited, it gave me a lot of joy. So yes, dealing with people, let's say, seasoned guests can sometimes be a bit tedious, but I don't think it's part of the job. And these are people too you get to learn from. So I mean, I also have that mentality, like they were once like me at some point in time, and at some
Mhm.
point in time, so I'd be like them. So you got to treat them with all the love and care they deserve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good. And that's true. Like throughout we were with you, I think 3 days, and over the
right, right.
time of the 3 days, you became like a part of our family. Like we
I
just,
know everybody was so nice. That's what I'm saying. Everybody
we
was so nice and it was so welcoming. And even when I come to the hotel, it's really difficult to say like, oh yeah, she's 70, she's 60, we all relate. I mean, everybody was so welcoming and it was lovely.
yeah, yeah. And the last day you were a part of our we took a tour, a boat cruise.
Dina, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dinner cruise
Dina. Yeah, yeah,
on the Seine, like right in the picture that you have behind
yeah.
you. Do you typically have those really good experiences with a group that like it becomes like friendships, or is it just, it just business? Like how is it normally in terms of what you've experienced?
So I'm going to tell you something. I've met with quite a lot of people that today on my birthday they call me to wish me happy birthday.
Oh,
No, I'm just saying, like on my birthday,
oh,
they
okay.
would call me to wish
Yeah,
me happy birthday.
yeah.
Randomly they'll call me to be like, how's your mom, how's your dad? Some of them have taken me as family. A lot of them, like, after they told, they'll be like, oh, you're so nice, you're so good, we really enjoy that time. And some of them will still call me up until today to send me gift, to check
Okay.
up with me, how you doing. Anytime you're in this particular place, just let us know. uh early this year I was in New York, right?
Hmm.
And one of my clients I just randomly mentioned it, like, oh yeah, I'm coming to New York. And I was like, oh, you have to come over, this and that. And I mean, I was a whole apartment in New York, in what's it called, in Brooklyn. He gave me a whole apartment. Like, I mean, you're free to stay here for as long as you want. You don't have to pay anything, and it's that nice. You see, like, people. Yeah, after tours, I've get to have like lunch, dinner with people before, and everything is always lovely. So yeah, at the end of the tour, people, when you've done a good job, I think when you've done a good job, people tend to appreciate you for your kindness, for
Hmm.
your level of expertise, for your level of knowledge, for the love you show, and it's all, you know included in the all, and it's like a whole package, you see. And it's not just about showing people around Paris. It's just all about making sure that they have a good and long lasting experience of the place. Okay, it's a different thing when you just, oh yeah, this is the Eiffel Tower, and you're not challenged, you don't even care about probably how they're feeling, you know if they want to take pictures, how they want their pictures to be like. Some of these things, you see, it's a whole experience. So making the experience worth it, you see, it's the old job entirely. Yeah, that's the old job. So yes, I've really had quite a lot of people that even after the old job and the old business, it's more beyond the old business. We become friends, and with their families, we still talk. They call me today. I call them like, hey, how you doing? What's up with you? Where are you? This and that and that and that. I mean, just like with you right now, like now we're very cool friends. You invited me to a show. Was it just a couple of days ago? And we met in DC,
Last
and
week.
I mean, it was really lovely. I had a good time. So that's the way it is for me. It's more than a business. It's just connecting with people, and building a long lasting relationship with people.
Hmm. So you had mentioned that the tours kind of came out of the things that you love to do, the history and like culture, and trying to
Right.
find how you could connect while you moved when you moved to Paris. What do you do professionally? Like, this is something you do on the side. Like, what is your regular 9 to 5 like?
Right. So I get this question a lot too. And most times when I'm on tours, some of my guests ask me after the tour, they'll be like, did you have a master's in history? Did you study history? And I'm like, no, I didn't study history in school. And when I break down my academic qualifications for them, they're like, wow. So my bachelor's degree is in public health epidemiology. I have my diploma in digital health, and I have my master's in health management and data intelligence. So I do clinical research. I do epidemiological research, real world evidence generation in oncology and rare disease. Yes, this is basically who I am. Like if you look at all my qualifications, these are all the qualifications I've got. Like everything is in the health sector, research, and yeah, clinical research most especially. But this, like I said, this is just a passion. All right.
Hmm.
Yes, is I mean me being in the clinical world is also a passion, but I mean, sometimes we have passion for different things. So me talking about Eiffel Tower today, or probably taking you to the Louvre tomorrow, or probably taking you to the Notre Dame, it's also a passion. Telling you about the history, how it came to be, things inside there, just to make sure that you're good, you're happy, you have a good experience, a long lasting one. Yeah, it's just really a passion. Yes.
So, how do you manage your work, what you described, what you do in epidemiology with like the tour schedule? Because like there's got to be some conflicts. You just kind of set your schedule according to your availability. How does that work?
Yes, yes. So I always work with availability. So once like I get clients, I know, okay, this particular time I'm gonna be free. This particular time I'm gonna be free, and I also speak with my clients. Okay, what 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 time would you be free? When are you coming in? So I try to plan my schedule accordingly. Yes, but sometimes, so let's say like on weekends, when I have absolutely nothing doing, I do that full time, and I'm like, yeah, full day. I'm with my guests, and it's so good.
Okay, cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool. So, is there anything that you would like to share with our listeners or our viewers about anything else that we haven't touched on or anything like that?
Ooh.
I've tried to be thorough.
Well, anything. I mean, Paris is such a beautiful place, filled with a lot of history, filled with a lot of love, and like I said during the part of the conversation, it's a place you come to over and over. I know some people would be like, "Yeah, I was in Paris 5 years ago, and I was in Paris 10 years ago." It's always magical. Right. So whether you were there 2 years ago or 3 years ago, Paris is a place you should come to over and over. Right. And anytime you come to Paris, don't forget to reach out to me. I would always be there to be your tour guide. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
I'm gonna
I love Paris.
I'm gonna always recommend you, Ife. Now, one thing
Right.
that I do, as I was thinking, a lot of folks were concerned about like protests or strikes and things like that. Like, how do you assure people who are coming that about those things? Because it might impact their ability to go see the Eiffel Tower one day or the Louvre one day or another place. Like, but isn't that a big part of what Paris does? Like, there's just a really strong workers movement there.
Yes, to be honest, we have a lot of protests in Paris, and the thing is that some of these protests too are not that deadly. Like a few of them, yeah, but not all of them. So, for example, when I have a guest, and or not even just protests. Let's say when we have Champions League games, for instance, like last early, no, is it? Yeah, sometimes this year when Paris Saint-Germain was going to play. Was it was it Real Madrid we played in the final? I can't even remember. No, it wasn't Real Madrid. I think it was Bayern. Yeah, Bayern Munich. Yeah, I think it was Bayern, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I know Champions League final is going to be kind of brutal because of if you look at the age group of the supporters of PSG, they're quite a lot of young people, and sometimes they become violent even when they're celebrating. So when people come around, I it's one of the first thing I do is okay, from this time to this time you're gonna be out. Anything from this time, please stay in your hotel. Don't come out. If you know you want to watch the game, watch it from your hotel room. Okay, if you're in this particular neighborhood, I think this particular neighborhood is safe. This is probably you're close to where the stadium is. Don't go out because even if you go out, getting transportation back to your hotel, whether it's Uber, whether it's the train, might be a bit difficult. So many of all of these, I analyze to and I let my guests know what is happening. I give them the information beforehand. For some of the protests, it means just see them walking around and doing the thing, and there are always some specific places too where people, let's say Republic, let's say Châtelet, where it's always heated, and I always try to avoid to tell my guests to avoid this particular areas. And but aside all of this, Paris still remains a very beautiful place to visit, right? And I think it was recently when we there was a protest ongoing just shortly after the prime minister resigned. I can't remember whatever protest it was, and I had a group and we were supposed to go all around the city in a bus, and I told them, okay, this is what is happening right now. In as much as this tour is supposed to take about 3 hours, we might end up taking about 4 to 5 hours because the route we're supposed to pass to go to probably this particular place might be blocked. So we'd have to find another route. We have to do this and do that. I would explain, and I did explain that day, and everybody was okay. And yes, whilst we were driving around the city, we saw some of them protesting. Some guests were even trying to take some pictures, and they loved everything. And see, yeah, there are some days when we have things like that. You can't take that away from the city, but at the same time it's still a place to enjoy, still a place to come to. I mean, the protests or the deadly ones, it's not like happens, it doesn't happen every day. No, it doesn't happen every day, and even if it's going to happen, it's just always around some particular area, not all the around the small of Paris. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you give tours in Paris and other parts of France? Like
Right.
how far out do your tours go into the country?
Oh, I mean, if to let's say Giverny, let's say Normandy, Mont Saint Michel, these are places like probably if you want to drive, they're like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours out of Paris, and you just go probably you see probably for wine tours, and you go to some of the chateaus, and yes. Some of them 3 hours, some of them 4 hours. So we offer private tours to those places, like transportation inclusive. Yeah, so it also depends on the number. If it's like a small family, we could always get like a normal, probably SUV, or a normal a private car that can always take them there, bring them back to the hotel, and it's always like a complete package. Let me put it that way. So yes, we do tours out of Paris as well. Yeah.
And then do you do tours or take people to other countries altogether? Like are there other places you give tours to?
Yes, so but that would be if we have like big groups. You see, like I know some groups, like let's say student group, they're coming here and they want to do like tours of Europe generally. Like they want to step Germany, do Brussels, do France, do Spain, Portugal, and they're like, yes, I do that as well. But that is going to be a normal planned private tour for that particular group.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So this is
Okay.
the story. I, not me, but this person, I, 17 male, have been saving for university and future spending since I was legally allowed to. I've taken positions as a lifeguard during the summer and as a part time waiter the rest of the year, striking a balance between work life and student obligations. University is not very expensive, but I want to pay it on my own and have saved for the first 2 years. I put the money in my bookshelf in an envelope. My father remarried with my stepmom 5 years ago. They always talk about traveling and spent their free time looking at YouTube videos of other cities. I do that myself. They have always talked about going on a romantic trip to Paris. 2 weeks ago, they finally accomplished their objective and went to Paris. They spared
Okay.
no expense, flew on business class, stayed at a very nice
Oh,
hotel, and booked top class restaurants. Overall, they had an amazing time. Yesterday, I went for some money. I went for some money for a set of headphones, and when I noticed part of the money was gone, I quickly ran to my
oh,
father. I quickly ran to my father and asked him if he knew about the money. He told me that they took it for the trip to Paris.
mm,
Since they could manage my money and belongings as I was a minor, and both have full custody of me, I stormed off and went for a walk. Bear in mind, they had stolen around 3,000 euros.
wow.
At that night, they came to me and offered to return my money provided I pay for rent and food from then on. They claim that since I wanted
No.
to be independent, this has to be at every aspect. I was beyond shocked that they had the nerve of saying such things. I quickly packed a backpack, and now I'm staying for a few days with my girlfriend. They're bombarding me with texts and saying that I'm being very immature, and therefore the money was reasonably managed by them. My father's family is telling me that I'm being very unreasonable, that I should be understanding as they have raised me and invested a lot of money on me. However, most of my cousins side with me. Now I'm in no contact with all of them. Am I the asshole? What
Oh, wow.
a
This
story,
is a
right?
deep
Yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah. This is crazy.
No, I don't think he's the house. Oh, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. I
Okay.
mean, oh, wow. I get the part of, yeah, the parent have sponsored him through, through life, paid for his bills while he was a kid to particular ages, he's at a particular time. But this is his savings. He literally worked for this and he had planned for the money. So if he has plans for the money, then taking the money without his consent in the first place is not right.
Yeah, yeah.
And you had to use it to go to Paris on a romantic trip
But
without
they had to
even.
pay you, Ife. That's how they paid for the tour. You gave them a
Yeah,
grand.
I get it, but no, I wouldn't advise anybody to do that in the first place. I mean, it's not their money; it's literally
Yeah,
them ripping off their son. And
yeah.
no, they are the asshole. The son is not the asshole. No, they are the asshole. No, no,
All
no, they are
right.
the asshole. I mean, they didn't even involve the owner of the money in the trip. They went to the trip on their own,
Right.
and
They didn't bring it.
oh,
No, no,
they
no.
didn't bring him. Yeah, they should refund the money back in full. I mean, they
Yeah.
should. Yes, they should refund the money back in full.
Yeah. Okay. That's good advice. I agree. The parents are definitely the asshole in this
No,
situation.
the parents are the household. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you for being my first Am I the Asshole Travel Edition. I really appreciate your feedback. But most importantly, Ife, I appreciate your time. You were an excellent
Right.
tour guide. Now that
Right.
I'm getting more into travel and helping other people, especially as people are asking me, like, oh, I want to go to Paris, your name is easily one that I'm always recommending
Right. Right. I'm
because you were
glad.
great.
Thank you so much for that.
Yep. So we wanted to thank you for being our guest today on Plans Are My Love Language, a podcast about travel and making the best of your trips. And thank you so much for your time, Ife.
Thank you so much, Karen.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Right.
Yeah.